Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the second run of Scale Trains Tier 4 GEVOs, and there are some improvements we're going to talk about. We'll do a limited look at functions because we did fully review this not too long ago. And we're also going to look at the operator with sound, which is a nice new addition. So we're going to take a look at these two Tier 4 GEVOs next. Alright, quick unboxing for those who didn't see the first review. If you do want to see that review, it is way in depth, so be sure to check it out. You got the operator's manual, big long manual here, landscape mode, with lots of functions. We're going to go over just a few. This ESU decoder, primarily the purpose is to look at the paint scheme, which is a new addition. This is the Demonstrator unit paint scheme, and we're also going to see some improvements that they've made, or talk about improvements they've made on the model. So let me just get this out of the box here. A little bit of a tight squeeze, but tight packaging is always good. Inside here you have bearing caps for the wheels, because they do have rotating bearings, wheel bearings on the ends. The locomotive out. It's got that stand. You got to be careful. What I just did is probably not the best move, but you have these truck stands that help immobilize the trucks in shipment. This helps with the locomotive. We'll get the rest of the packaging undone here and take a closer look. We're looking at one speed step here just to double check and see that the drive quality is still the same, and it is excellent. It is moving along without any lurching, so very, very smooth drive on this Scale Trains loco. Alright, before we go into some of the details on this, the improvements, I'm just going to call those out separately. Scale Trains has redesigned the ditch lights so that they have more evenly applied light across all the different units. And in the second run, they've also painted the X-bracing primer gray. A little harder to see in this unit, but if you look closely, you'll be able to see the X-bracing, especially on the NS unit. It really stands out. So pretty cool looking. By painting it primer gray, it stands out more as a more prominent detail, as this is a very detail-packed model. Now this GE 2015 Demonstrator scheme is very, very sharp. It looks amazing to the eye. A very aesthetically pleasing locomotive. You do have a lot of features, including the Scale Trains metal couplers, Scale Trains branded MU hoses and accessory hoses with silver tipped ends on the front, the windshield wipers and cab windows, separately applied grabs, sand filler hatches, tinted windows on the cab, and tinted dome. Got a horn mounted on the front and rear. This is the block version, not the tapered version of the exhaust. So the exhaust is square back here. You got that massive radiator fan grill on the rear. You can probably see the X-bracing a little better back here. Handrails appear to be straight. Quality control appears to be great. Sand filler hatch on the rear. Coupler cut levers front and rear as well. Brake chain, or truck chain I should say. You can see it's a little dark and hard to see. There's that disconnection, so you can easily remove the shell. I go over more detail in my main review, but that's the gist of it. You can see that X-bracing a little better now that we're zoomed in on the radiator area, along with the brake wheel, two-tone brake wheel, white and green. All right, now we're looking at the operator unit. This is the first operator unit with sound that I have looked at. So the operator, less details but less price. You're talking with sound less than $150, $149.99. But there are parts you would have to apply separately, purchase yourself. I believe Scale Trains is going to offer, or is already offering, a parts detail kit for these. As you can see right off the bat, there are no accoutrements on the roof. There's no windshield wipers, but there are lots of details still. You've got safety tread on the walkways still there. You have safety tread on the side walkways as well. Got a separately applied horn. Everything else is molded in like sand filler hatches here. And you've got the areas pre-located for applying grab irons. It looks like they're pre-drilled as well. So it could be a project. Do have a lot of fuel tank detail still on this with separately applied plumbing. Nice brake detail with the brake cylinders there. It's still on the operator unit. You don't get that nice X-bracing see-through that you would on the operator or on the rivet counter, but still a lot of detail for less than $150. On this side, you've got emergency shut-off and sight glass on the fuel tank as well. Handrail is still the same durability, and you still have the same drive. That's another thing. There's no different drive between this and the rivet counter, so you're going to get the same great pulling from both of these, and these things have had astronomical pull tests. Back to rivet counter, the fully detailed locomotive. Applying track power so we can listen to sounds. I'm sorry, startup F8. Just going to listen to a few sounds. Rivet counter is going to have a more functional, fully functional decoder than the operator. There's the bell. There's the horn. Now when I put it in reverse, you get the other blat horn, because the demonstrator units have two different horns based on direction. Now there's a lot of other sounds on this locomotive. I would refer you to my full review. I'll put the link in the description so you can see the full review of all the details of the rivet counter. I'm going to do a pull test here. Now this peaked at over 5 ounces. That's over 75 cars. Actually performed better on the first route, but the track may need to be cleaned. I'm going to go ahead and compare this to the operator so you can see how it's the same drive and probably has similar pull tests. Alright, the operator is getting fired up again with F8 to do so. Start pulling here. So we're maxing out at about 4.4. It's in the ballpark of the same between the operator and the rivet counter. Should be pulling the same because it does have the same chassis, but this pull test meter is not the most consistent thing sometimes. Quick look at ditch lighting. Does seem to be more uniform and equal. Both ditch light housings. So That's one of the other improvements we mentioned on top of the X bracing painting color, gray. One of the other differences is the rivet counter's got a keep alive feature, so current goes uninterrupted even over bad track. This thing was making noise up until just a few seconds ago. And I'm going to weigh the two just to see if that makes up for the slight pulling power difference. 0.700 kilograms, 1.54 pounds, 1 pound, 8.6 ounces, 24.6 ounces, 695 grams. So now we'll swap. Let it zero out. That was 695 grams. This is the operator. Yep, 640. So just the separately applied parts are going to make a difference. So of 0.055 kilograms, 1.41 pounds, 1 pound, 6.5 ounces, 22.5 ounces total, 640 grams. So let me just go back to the pound and ounce here. We'll get you an ounce difference real quick. 1.64 and 1.85. So you got about 2.1 ounces of difference in weight between the rivet counter and operator. Well, that's going to wrap up this review. A couple of improvements from scale trains between the first run and the second run, and then the release of the ready to roll, and then the release of the operator with sound makes for a nice second run of locomotives. One thing I forgot to mention is they also painted the fan housings primer gray on the rivet counter, the GE demo in this case. So that's another contrast color to make it stand out more. So I'll leave you with a run by, maybe you can notice it then. And we'll see you next time right here on my channel. Take care.